My grandmother slept like a baby every single night until she was 89 years old. Not once did I see her take a sleeping pill. Not once did I hear her complain about waking up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. And when I was a young woman struggling with my own restless nights, she sat me down in her kitchen, poured me a cup of something warm, and said, "Shana, the answer is not in a bottle from the pharmacy. The answer has been growing in the earth since before your great-great-grandmother was born." That cup she gave me changed everything, and tonight I am going to share with you exactly what was in it, because what she taught me that evening came from a tradition of healing that stretches back thousands of years, and it works better than anything you can buy in a drugstore. Now, before I share this with you, I want to be clear. What I teach comes from thousands of years of Jewish herbal tradition and is for educational purposes only. Always speak with your doctor before making any changes to your health routine. What I share is ancient wisdom, not medical advice, but it is wisdom that has kept Jewish families healthy for generations. And I believe you deserve to know it. Let me ask you something. How many nights this week did you lie awake wishing your mind would just be quiet? How many mornings did you wake up feeling like you never really rested at all? And how many times have you reached for that little bottle of melatonin, hoping tonight would be different? You are not alone. Millions of people over 50 are taking melatonin every single night. The doctors recommend it. The advertisements promise deep, restful sleep. And so you take it 1 milligram, then 3, then 5, then 10. And maybe it helps a little at first, but then you notice something. You wake up groggy. Your head feels thick and foggy in the morning. Sometimes you have strange dreams that leave you more exhausted than before. And the worst part, after a few weeks, it stops working as well as it did. So you take more, and the cycle continues. I have heard this story so many times. A woman comes to me and says, "I don't know what else to do. The melatonin worked for a while, but now I need it just to fall asleep, and I still wake up tired." And I understand. I truly do. Because the world we live in does not make rest easy. The stress, the worry, the aches and pains that come with living past 50. The mind that refuses to stop racing even when the body is begging for sleep. But here is what most people do not understand about melatonin. It is a hormone. When you take it from a bottle, you are telling your body to stop making its own. And over time, your body listens. It produces less and less naturally, so you become dependent on the pill. And the pill becomes less and less effective. This is not healing. This is managing. And there is a profound difference between the two. In Jewish tradition, we have always understood that the body knows how to heal itself. Our job is not to override the body's wisdom with synthetic chemicals. Our job is to support it, to give it the tools it needs to do what it was designed to do. And for sleep, there is one herb that our people have used for centuries. One herb that does not disrupt your hormones. One herb that does not make you groggy or dependent. One herb that actually helps your body remember how to sleep the way you did when you were young. Today I am going to share 3 ancient Jewish remedies for deep, natural sleep. The first is the herb my grandmother gave me in that cup. The second is something you probably have in your kitchen right now and never thought to use this way. And the third is a practice that goes back to the Talmud itself. And not one of them has the side effects that melatonin brings, not one. Let me tell you about Valerian Root. This is what my grandmother brewed for me that night in her kitchen. I remember the smell. It was earthy, almost musky, not sweet like the teas I was used to. And I remember wrinkling my nose and asking her, "Bubby, what is this?" She laughed and said, "This is what your great-grandmother drank in the old country, and her mother before her. The rabbis knew about this plant. The healers in our shtetls kept it in every home. Now drink." So I drank, and that night I slept deeper than I had in months. No racing thoughts, no waking at 2 a.m, just rest, real rest. Now, valerian is not a Jewish plant in the sense that it grows only in Israel. It grows throughout Europe, Asia, and now North America. But Jewish communities in Eastern Europe adopted it centuries ago because it worked. It was part of what we call the folk medicine tradition, passed from mother to daughter, from healer to healer, in every community where our people lived. The way valerian works is very different from melatonin. Melatonin tells your body to sleep. Valerian helps your body remember how to relax. It supports the natural calming systems that are already inside you. It does not force sleep. It invites it. And because of this, you do not become dependent on it the way you do with hormones. But here is the part most people get wrong. They buy valerian tea from the grocery store, drink 1 cup, feel nothing, and decide it does not work. That is because they do not know how to prepare it properly. My grandmother taught me the right way. Listen carefully. You need dried valerian root, not a tea bag filled with dust and stems. Real dried root. You can find it at any herb shop or order it easily. Take 1 full teaspoon of the dried root, not half a teaspoon. 1 full teaspoon. Place it in a cup and pour 8 ounces of water that has just finished boiling. Then cover the cup. This is important. You must cover it. The compounds that help you sleep are volatile, which means they can escape into the air as steam. If you do not cover your cup, you lose the medicine. Let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. Then strain it and drink it warm about 30 to 45 minutes before you want to sleep. The taste is strong. I will not lie to you, but you can add a little honey if you need to. After about a week of doing this every night, most people notice a real difference. They fall asleep more easily. They stay asleep longer. And they wake up without that foggy, drugged feeling that melatonin causes. My grandmother drank this every single night for as long as I knew her. And she never once complained about her sleep. Not once. But this is only the first of what I want to share with you. The second remedy is something most people throw away without knowing what they are discarding. Let me tell you about chamomile. Now, I know what you are thinking. Chamomile? Everyone knows about chamomile tea. What is so special about that? But here is what you do not know. The chamomile sitting in your kitchen cabinet, the chamomile tea bags you buy at the supermarket, they are almost useless. They contain so little of the actual flower that you would need to drink 10 cups to feel anything. And the way most people brew it is completely wrong. Let me tell you how I learned this. There was a woman in our community named Miriam. She was in her 70s when I knew her, a survivor who had come to America after the war. Miriam could not sleep. The memories kept her awake. The doctors gave her pills, but she refused to take them. She had seen too much in her life to trust pills. So she came to my grandmother. and my grandmother taught her about chamomile. Not the weak tea bags, real chamomile flowers. Miriam started preparing it the way my grandmother showed her, and within 2 weeks, she was sleeping through the night for the first time in decades. She told me once with tears in her eyes, "Your grandmother gave me back my nights." Chamomile has been used in Jewish communities for hundreds of years, particularly among Sephardic families who brought the tradition from Spain and the Mediterranean. It was used not just for sleep, but for calming the stomach, soothing anxious thoughts, and helping the body release tension. The rabbis considered it one of the gentle healers, something safe enough for children and elderly alike. But the secret is in the preparation. You need whole dried chamomile flowers, not tea bags. Find them at an herb shop or a good health food store. Take 2 tablespoons, not 1, 2 full tablespoons of the dried flowers. Place them in a pot with 2 cups of water. Bring the water to a boil, then immediately turn off the heat. Cover the pot tightly and let it sit for 20 minutes. 20 minutes, not 5. This is where the medicine comes out. After 20 minutes, strain it through a fine mesh strainer. You will have a deep golden liquid that smells like honey and apples. Drink 1 cup about an hour before bed. You can drink the 2nd cup the next night. Keep it covered in the refrigerator. The difference between this and a regular tea bag is night and day. This is real chamomile. This is what actually works. And when you combine it with valerian, rotating between them or even using them together, you create a foundation for sleep that does not depend on hormones, does not cause grogginess, and does not stop working after a few weeks. But here is what most people do not realize. The most powerful remedy for sleep is not an herb at all. It is a practice. And this practice comes directly from the Talmud. Now pay close attention to what I am about to share with you, because this is the part that changes everything. In the Talmud, in Tractate Berachot, our sages discussed the proper way to prepare for sleep. They understood something that modern science is only beginning to recognize. Sleep does not begin when you close your eyes. Sleep begins hours before. The way you end your day determines the quality of your rest. In our tradition, there is a practice called Cheshbon Hanefesh. It means an accounting of the soul, and it was performed every night before bed. You would sit quietly, review the day, acknowledge what you did well, recognize where you fell short, and release it all before lying down. This was not guilt. This was not rumination. This was completion. The sages taught that an unsettled mind cannot rest, and an unsettled mind comes from an unfinished day. When you carry the worries and regrets and unresolved thoughts into your bed, they stay with you all night. They wake you at 3 a.m. They sit on your chest like a weight. Modern people do the exact opposite. They watch the news before bed. They scroll through their phones. They fill their minds with stimulation and stress right up until the moment they close their eyes. And then they wonder why they cannot sleep. Let me tell you how my grandmother practiced this. Every night after dinner, she would sit in her chair by the window. She kept a small notebook there, and she would write 3 things. First, she wrote 1 thing from the day that she was grateful for. Just 1. It could be simple. The bread rose well. The sun was warm. My granddaughter came to visit. Second, she wrote 1 thing she wished she had done differently, not to punish herself, but to acknowledge it and let it go. And third, she wrote 1 thing she was releasing, 1 worry she was choosing to leave outside the bedroom door, Then she would close the notebook, whisper the Shema, and go to bed. This took her maybe 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes changed everything. She was not lying awake processing the day. She had already processed it. She was not carrying worries into her sleep. She had already released them. Her mind was clear. Her soul was settled. And sleep came naturally. Now, here is how I want you to try this. Tonight, before you prepare your valerian or your chamomile, sit down somewhere quiet. Take a piece of paper or a small notebook. Write down one thing you are grateful for from today. Write down one thing you wish you had done differently. Write it without judgment. Just acknowledge it. And write down one thing you are choosing to release tonight, one worry you are putting down. Then close the notebook, take 3 slow breaths, and go prepare your tea. This combination, the herb for the body and the practice for the mind, is more powerful than any sleeping pill ever invented, because it addresses both halves of the problem. It calms the physical tension and clears the mental noise. And it does so without side effects, without dependency, without morning grogginess. This is what Jewish families have always known. This is the wisdom that kept our people healthy through centuries of hardship. And now you have it too. I want you to understand something important. These 3 remedies, valerian for the body's relaxation, chamomile for the nervous system, and Cheshbon Hanefesh for the mind, they are not separate tools. They are pieces of a complete system. In our tradition, we never treated the body as a machine with parts that could be fixed in isolation. We understood that sleep problems are never just about sleep. They are about how you live, how you eat, how you process your emotions, how you end your day. When you take melatonin, you are treating a symptom. When you practice what I have shared with you tonight, you are addressing the root. You are teaching your body how to return to its natural rhythms. You are teaching your mind how to let go. You are creating the conditions where real rest becomes possible again. Jewish families did not survive 3,000 years of exile, persecution, and hardship by being weak. They survived because they understood how to take care of themselves with what the earth provides. They survived because they passed down wisdom from generation to generation. They survived because they knew that the body wants to heal, if we would only give it the chance. And tonight, you have been given that same chance. Your body remembers how to sleep. It truly does. It has just forgotten under the weight of stress and synthetic supplements and a world that never stops moving. But with valerian, with real chamomile, and with a few minutes of reflection each night, you can help your body remember. You can reclaim your nights. You can wake up feeling rested, clear-headed, and ready to live your days fully. I want to invite you to try this for the next 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. Get yourself some dried valerian root and real chamomile flowers. Prepare them the way I taught you. And every night, take 5 minutes to do your Cheshbon Hanefesh before bed. Notice what happens. Notice how your sleep changes. Notice how your mornings feel different. And then come back here and tell me about it. Write in the comments below. Tell me that you choose natural healing. Tell me that you are ready to put down the pills and pick up the wisdom of your ancestors. That declaration matters more than you know. It is the first step toward a different way of living. And if someone you love is struggling with sleep, share this with them. A sister, a mother, a friend who has been taking melatonin for months and still feels exhausted. They deserve to know that there is another way. There is an old Jewish saying that my grandmother repeated to me many times. She would say, "The same earth that grows the illness also grows the cure." I did not understand what she meant when I was young, but I understand it now. Everything you need for a good night's sleep is already here. It grows from the ground. It comes from the tradition of your ancestors, and it has been waiting for you to discover it. Tonight may your sleep be deep. May your rest be true. And may you wake up tomorrow remembering what your body has always known.